Yo everyone, what's going on? Couriway here, and welcome to the video where I got my fastest blind travel ever in no reset speedrunning. This run was absolutely ridiculous, and I don't want to take up any of your time, so let's just get into it and see why, if this blind was so fast, it didn't end up being a no reset PB. But before we can see why this run didn't end up PBing, we need to first see why was it so fast in the first place, because this, again, is my fastest blind ever in the challenge, over 5,000 runs, and this was the fastest. You can see, doesn't look like anything too crazy off the rip. No trees on a desert coast, but thankfully, I do see a shipwreck off in the distance. No dolphin to get there a little bit faster, so I'm heading immediately to the shipwreck, as that's my only source of wood at the moment, and that's going to be really crucial to get any run started. I don't really want to take any time to go to the savannah trees or anything, because not only does the shipwreck give me wood, but of course it gives me iron and a chance at food as well. So immediately in the iron chest, I get 16, which is phenomenal. But in the food chest, I only get 5 potatoes. I do reopen it because I see that there's gunpowder there. And sometimes if you get enough gunpowder, you need 5. You can craft a TNT, and that can be pretty beneficial. But only 3 in that chest, so I'm not able to do that. I am going to mine the 2 logs first in the shipwreck right at the door of the chest, the map chest room. I guess it's called the map chest. I'm not really sure, but obviously I grabbed the map as well. And because this is a full size right side up ship, that's what it would be called. I'm able to get a door in the map chest room, and that allows me to move around here really easily, collect kind of all the wood from the shipwreck. And the reason I'm doing this is because it allows me to play for a really fast enter. Obviously in no reset, there are a lot of seeds where instantly I know that it's not going to be PBable, it's not going to be a fast seed, etc, etc. But this is a situation where, is this the greatest start ever? No, but it gives me at least something to go off of. And I think about going to this map, and that's where I'm heading at the moment. But I also know if I see any help or enterable ravine, that it's definitely worth to force that enter as I do here, because that's going to allow me to enter the nether incredibly fast. And like I said, doing no reset, you don't get the opportunity to do this too often. So even though I don't have any food, it's worth it to at least see what's in the nether. And if it was like a horrible thing, I could potentially even come back, go to the map then, maybe even just kill some animals in the savannah for food. But I want to force as many fast enters as I can in this challenge. It's going to eventually help me get a sub 10, hopefully. But this is how I would have to do it. So we're going to be entering the nether here really fast. A 207 nether enter, one of the fastest I've really ever had in the challenge. And we do get a bastion. You can see my E-ray spiking to about 45 when I load in over here. And I don't have too many blocks, so I also have to be careful about that. I want to make sure that I'm not wasting my wood. That's going to be a very valuable resource. And I'm going to take the time to mine a little bit here, because having the time to mine these blocks, I don't know exactly what the terrain's going to be, but again, no reset. I kind of got to be aware of anything. I want to be as prepared as possible. You can see, speaking about being prepared, I'm grabbing a mushroom there because I know that my food situation is really dire. And now that I'm actually in the nether, I know that I'm not in a crimson or anything like that where I could potentially just kill a hoglin, so I need to be aware. I do see the bastion, of course. It is a treasure bastion, so again, it's not a bastion like stables or bridge where there's a hoglin that spawns in those structures where I could get a little bit more food. So I know that it's going to be a situation where I need to be very careful with my food, and I'm going to be probably smelting this baked potato at the top of the treasure. That's kind of what's going through my head right now. I do still want to grab mushrooms because it allows me not only food now, but just a little bit extra throughout the run, because baked potatoes really are not like the greatest thing ever. So I definitely still need to be prepared for that. And I grabbed a little bit more blocks because you do need a little bit of blocks to do a good treasure route. Like, it's definitely helpful to have more. And I'm actually Quake Proing here because I want to see if I see any other structure, because with this being treasure, my mob spawner that's on my pie chart, it is the magma cube spawner at the bottom of the treasure. So that's why I don't really like this bastion in no reset. Sure, it's fast, sure, it can be good, but I usually have to break the spawner, because if I don't break the spawner, I'm kind of just guessing on where the fortress is, and I never want to guess in a no reset run. I do end up handling this pretty well. I haven't taken any damage so far. Able to get the pigs across. End up taking 1 hit, which is pretty standard. You're usually going to take like 1, maybe 2, but ideally like 1 or 0 doing a treasure route. And I know that I have to get the baked potatoes smelting soon, but I also want to get the piglins trading as soon as possible, because that's the priority. Like, the food is obviously nice, but the main thing is I want to get them at least trading so that I can get a little bit more organized. I use my lava bucket because I can just kind of get lava anywhere in the nether. It's not like super optimal, but totally fine for the moment. And now I'm going to head down here, grab all the gold blocks in this treasure. You can see I'm kind of doing a similar route to like ranked route. If you're familiar with watching the treasure and like Drip's World Record, I'm not sure if he actually goes down for the gold blocks. That I actually could be wrong. Now that I'm saying that out loud, I think he actually does. But going for as many gold blocks as I can at the top for consistency is really important. And you can see here though, I'm kind of getting rolled. I got like no gold blocks in like any of this. I only get one on this other side. So in my head, I kind of know like, okay, well, this pace is kind of dying. I know I'm probably going to have to go to the bottom section of the treasure, which is like fine because I can at least, you know, break the magma cube spawner. Potentially have a direction to go. I do get obsidian in that chest, which is really nice. And then I have this to kind of get all sorted here. I get a gold block, which is nice. I get more obsidian. I'm up to 15. And I'm kind of like, yeah, this is nice. But I'm probably still going to have to go down just for like pearls and all that stuff. I have 18 obsidian. I have 12 pearls. And I'm thinking, can I leave off this? Can I force the pace? This is a really good run. Like, if I could just get one more pearl trade, 2 more obby trades, I could leave. I don't get any obby trades. I don't get any pearl trades from the first 9. That's the last gold block that I'm trading now. There's literally no other gold blocks in the top section of this treasure. I get 21 obby. I do get another pearl trade, and I'm going to be leaving. Now, it is unfortunately only a 4 trade, so I only have 16 pearls, but I am able to leave, and I'm just sending it quadrant-wise. So if I ever open my F3 screen, I can explain quadrants a little bit better. But basically, the way that quadrants work is that I want to push a direction. I'm currently going positive X, and I'm negative X. And when you spawn at 0, 0, there's obviously 4 different quadrants you can go. Pause, 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 neg, neg, pause, and neg, neg. That fortress, or that's treasure, was in the neg, pause quadrant. So I know that was the structure in that quadrant near 0, 0. So I want to go to one that's not in that quadrant, because otherwise I'd have to go like hundreds of blocks out farther. So I'm trying to just find any structure near 0, 0. I'm running back past my portal. I'm lowering my render because I know that if I have a mob spawner here now, that it's not the treasure because I've gone far enough away. So I know that I have something close by, but I can't really see it. And boom, there I see it, a fortress in the ravine. Now, something to mention, this is not my fastest fort enter ever. I've had faster fort enters. I've actually had fort enters like a minute faster than this. I think my fastest fort enter is at 5:26 or something, but a 6:30 fort is incredibly good pace and no reset. I see the blaze spawner right here. Of course, it needs some good old-fashioned Couriway plumbing, because why would it not? But I am able to at least get a 2 spawn here, which is nice, and I do get 2 rods right off the jump. So I want to clear this out. That way I can, when I blaze bed here, because I cleared the lava already, I can just you know, blaze bed without having to worry about the lava going all over the place. But this is when I realize, as you might have noticed when I just opened my inventory, the reason I'm not blaze bedding is because I have no wool. And this is actually how this run ends up being one of my fastest blinds, because I'm not blinding fully on my high rod count. But that's okay, because I also don't use a calculator, and I know that my math is going to be important to take time for later. And I shear the sheep as it goes in the nether, so I need to get a sheep and pick up the wool in the nether now, but I sheared it. It gave me 1 wool. I obviously need explosives. I'm not even sure in this moment how much I have, like, in the run. I think at this moment I actually have, like, 3, but I obviously need more. I'm measuring my first eye angle. It's negative 102.2, and then I'm heading over here. Negative 102.2 on 2. Sometimes I see a lot of questions about, like, what does the, you know, 1.2 angle change on 2? What does the on 2 mean? What the on 2 means is it's the yellow lines that you see when I have chunk borders open. There's 8 of those lines. Well, there's 7, and then the next corner is 8. And it's basically just an indicator of every 2 blocks, so it's kind of helpful to figure out where I'm going. I lose a bit of time here to picking up this eye because I just, like, couldn't find it for a bit. But now I have to overlap the math because I don't want to get retimed with killing blazes. Now, I have no idea how this sheep re-sheared. Oh, it was the second sheep that went in the nether. That's why I was like, I have no idea how this re-sheared. And now I'm kind of figuring out my explosive situation. So right now, I am trading off not having a bow to be able to do a more clean 1 cycle with 5 explosives. So I'm just really playing for pace. At this point in the run, I'm not really focusing on the, like, I need to complete the seed no matter what. I need to complete the seed no matter what. I'm more focusing on how fast I can beat this seed and play it a little bit more aggressively than I normally would. So that's going to mean potentially leaving on less rods. That's going to mean potentially going for less consistent strategies in the end dimension. And you can see I'm standing here because I'm doing the math in my head. I'm figuring out where I need to go. It's a 1.2 angle change, so I need to figure out where I'm going for that. Now, the problem, of course, because of the bastion, I don't really have that many pearls, so I'm not going to be able to go there crazy fast, and I can leave right now, and I do decide to leave, which is pretty risky with the amount of blaze rods that I have, so I am just sending it. It's a 1.2 angle change, which means it's actually pretty close. So I'm actually leaving on 6 rods, and I would never do that. I think this is the only time I've ever left on 6 rods, unless it was like a 3 or 4 or 5 degree angle change. But I'm trusting in my own measurement that I am confident in. Like, my measurement was good. The 1.2 was good. And I'm just going to dig down and hope that I spy, because if I do, this is definitely PB pace and potentially sub 12 pace. And I didn't waste any time on the mismeasure. I'm actually throwing, I'm actually building this portal a little bit higher up, because I guess I'm not going for the spy. I thought I did in the moment, but I'm not. I'm building this portal at Y78. I'm trying to hit surface. That's what's going through my head at the moment. I'm trying to hit surface. I didn't want to get caved. And I can throw one eye here and hope that I hit. It's an 81 degree angle change. And that means it's pretty different than what it was originally. So I'm thinking it was a 1.2 angle change. It's this chunk. It's got to be this chunk. I'm going to throw one more. And wait a second. It's still going. And it's still an 82.5 angle change. Which means, unfortunately, I messed up my measurement pretty badly. I'm not exactly sure how I did it, but this is not the first time that I've messed up my measurement. And this dig down, I should have known in the moment, is incorrect. I'll spoil it for you right now. This is just fully wrong. I'm digging here to hit some part of the stronghold, because I know that it could still be farther, but I don't really want to throw so many eyes, because I can't really risk eye breaks in this situation. So I'm pretty much playing for specifically a PB here for a sub 12. I want to hit any part of the stronghold, but my C counter on the top left that indicates air blocks, I'm looking right under me. There's not a lot of air blocks, which means there's not a lot of cave, which means there's not a lot of stronghold. And that is just unfortunate. So I have to do the buildup of shame until I actually get to the coordinates I need to go to. Now, looking back at this run, and looking back at this time in the challenge in general, it's crazy looking at this now. I'm 1,000 runs ahead of this run, which is kind of crazy. I struggled a lot in this period with really shaky angle measurements when I was on good pace. And I'm not quite sure why I do that, but it's something that I really kind of stick in my brain now. The nice thing, though, is I do get sheep now, which is great. But the unfortunate thing is I still can't make a bow, because I already used my string. So if I wanted to make a bow, I'd have to go to the library for it. Anyway, back to what I was talking about with mismeasuring. I mismeasured a lot around this time period when I was on like a good pace, and thankfully I've kind of grown out of that. I'm throwing another eye here. I really shouldn't have done this. 75 degree angle change still. Like, I know I'm still relatively far. The eyes do keep dropping, which is very lucky for me, but this is just not a great situation to be in. And I'm digging down again here. I feel like it's here. Is it here? I actually don't remember, so we're gonna learn together here. But it's just a thing where when I get so, like, I don't think nervous is the right word, but I get a little bit less focused on the no reset aspect and taking my time and doing all of that. And I really focus on just like trying to go as fast as possible. And I get a little sloppy. I think that's more so it than anything. So I just miss digging. You can see I feel like I'm missing a dig again here. So I'm just going to boat the direction that I feel like the stronghold is. And as you can see now, this run is not nearly any pace that it could have been. But it goes to show the potential of what these seeds can be. Because think about it for a second, right? This run with a treasure bastion with like 5 total gold blocks. Did the chest pop off? Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. But I didn't get that many pearls. I only got like 16. And that makes it so that I can't really pearl around a lot. And then, because it's a treasure bastion, I'm not able to find where the fortress is. So I'm kind of blindly going, and obviously I go back to spawn, it ends up working out great. But even though I'm doing that, and here I finally hit the stronghold, even though I'm doing that, it's still a time loss, because when you don't exactly know where you're going, you are hesitating much more with just kind of the general thought process of what you're doing, because you're just more unsure. You're not sure what everything is. But now I'm in the stronghold. I have to back nap all the way back to starter, which is going to take a bit because I'm just in the back rooms of the stronghold, right? Because I didn't dig down in the right spot. I'm not exactly sure where I am. I want to go back to starter to make sure that my preemptive here, the way that I'm going to find the portal room, is as clean as possible. And when you do it a little bit deeper in the stronghold, like you're potentially farther away from the portal room, where I know from the starter staircase it should be roughly 5 to 8 rooms away or so. But when I entered the stronghold, I didn't know if I was 15 or 20 rooms away. I had no idea. So I'm just rechecking my pirate. I had something that was a little nice. Basically, this spike that I'm getting isn't amazing. The way the preemptive works, for anyone that doesn't know, is there's kind of specific generations of spikes that you get, orange and green combined, that resonate with a mob spawner. That's kind of how it works. If you think of how runners get buried treasure, I explained that in a video recently. Primitive's a very similar strategy for finding the portal room. But I am having a really hard time with that. So the nice cope about this run is that even if it ended up being a run where like I spied here and it was like crazy pace, I didn't fully throw the run to that because this nav was pretty disgusting. And I don't really think this is my fault, especially like looking back at it. Like when you're doing no reset and even when like you're doing RSG speedruns, like strongholds are the last part of the run. There's a lot that can potentially go wrong. It's a little bit more annoying for me in general without using a calculator because I don't I spy as often. And when you don't I spy, you get more mobs in the stronghold. And mobs can affect the preemptive reading, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So having that is a little bit more annoying for me, but it's how I play. It's how I like to play. It's what I'm going to deal with for the next 100,000, I guess 95,000 runs, which is fine. But it is something to kind of note here. So for me, this is like kind of fine. It's just a little bit annoying that it's happening on a really good run. But I've had worse strongholds and worse situations. This is just kind of what we deal with. So it's nice that the cope of this run is a stronghold. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let's like really recheck. I know this is starter. I know this is where I came in from. Let's see maybe if I missed a hallway that like I glimpsed past when I originally came through here. So I'm kind of thinking about that. Maybe something here. No, I was already here. I didn't go through this door. Maybe this is something here. No. Okay, so this is like crazy. What if I went a little bit more back towards like where I entered potentially? Maybe somewhere over here. I didn't fully check this way. Staircase going down. That's usually a good sign because it opens up more space because there's another direction to go. Another staircase going down. And now I'm like really deep in the stronghold again. Almost a similar spot of like where I entered originally. I'm going to try and re-pyrite again. I get a really nice spike when I do that. And I feel like the portal room is just going to be right up here. So I have to figure out how I'm going to get up here. I'm struggling placing blocks. Not the greatest way of doing that. But boom, there's the portal room. And to this day, I have no idea where I was actually supposed to go to find this thing. So that's no reset for you. But hey, now, thankfully, because of the sheep on the surface, I do have enough explosives to go for a 0 cycle. I know I have enough. It is a little bit risky because I don't have a bow, but it is something that is potentially on my mind here. I'm looking. Do I see the dragon? No, I'm not going to go for it because I am just a little baby. And unfortunately, I just want to complete the run. So I won't waste any more of your time. I'm going to speed up all this nonsense garbage. And you can just enjoy the 1 cycle. But thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed what could have been my fastest run ever. A lot of potential to go. Something crazy is going to happen soon. I hope you'll be there to see it live. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the 1 cycle. How many gold blocks were on that one side? Like 1? That was cool. I'm happy with the plays that I made. Finding the fort, sending it, etc. Dude, how bad was my distance estimate? 0.3 different than what I measured in the actual run. Okay, so that's a problem.